Okay, so in this video we'll be showing you how to use the Demon Slayer shader created to work with the Demon Slayer game released by CyberConnect 2. So how I usually go about it is I have a second blend file, which is the public release of the shader, which will be linked in the description. But I will say this one more time because it is written multiple times on the GitHub and my website. I will not tolerate any NSFW work created with the shader. I do not wish to see it used in that manner. Alright? So, continuing with the tutorial, I usually just copy the material sphere here. I have all of them in here. Go to the actual blend file where I have imported the game model, paste it, as it will paste all the shaders we have, and the sun, which you should not delete. Do not delete it. Do not, as that's what controls our lighting. So I shall just put the sphere off to the side for now. We don't really need it right now. Well, we do need it, just not right now. So with the Demon Slayer models, they have all of these materials. Fair warning, I do have the textures pulled up here. Not all the textures get used, and some textures are shared between materials. For instance, body LI, which is the body line work, is shared between the Hiyori and various other parts. The face one, however, is only just for the face. Sometimes it gets a little bit more confusing later on due to, I don't know what CyberConnect did, but it is quite messy, the folders, but it's not too bad to work with. So what I want to start up with is the eyes. In this shading tab. Let's go with left eye. I'll just delete all of these. Go into my eye shader. Copy all of this. Copy it, paste it into eye left. It's gonna have to compile the shader. And if your computer's kind of not powerful, it might crash potentially or be slower. I've also labeled each of the texture inputs we need. So IAC would be right here, the IAC texture. This would be the shadow color or something similar if you have worked with Arc System models previously. The AC is kind of like the SSS texture from Arc Sys games. There's a lot of similarities to Arc Sys, but there's plenty of others that aren't Arc Sys related. It's mostly traditional type of modeling with the CyberConnect models. So if I open up this, I should be able to locate the eye textures in here. This would be the IAC. So I just plug that in, IAC. It's got to compile. Then we have the eye mask, which is that one. Then we have IDI, which is the base color. IDI. And then we have IHLDI, which is the iris or specular, depending on what the character you're porting is. So, IHLDI, where would that be? It is... I think I'm being stupid. There it is. No, found it. That's the iris. Contra, at least. Not iris, it's a pupil, right? So once you have that there, his eye setup. However, it says right here, IHLDI2 if needed. This is for characters that have two speculars in their eyes, or if you wanted to add for Tanjiro, for instance, you could add let's just do this for example. I can add his HL again. And I can go up here and make second highlight 1, which allows us to do more lighting or shine to his eyes if you need this for a specific render or scene. Because I'll move it around the mapping nodes here. But we don't really need that right now. Oh, and also, if you want to hide the iris, we have first highlight. We can hide that like that. And with the eye all set up now, we can copy all of this to eye right. And the reason why we don't merge these materials, by the way, is so we can move and pose the eyes independently. So they don't, you know, move at the same time. Now we go to face. Actually, hold on. Is everything fine with the lighting? Yeah, it is. It's just the light direction's a little weird. Oh, right, forgot. I should have said this first. Make sure you go up to here in your render properties, scroll down, go to color management, and change view transform from filmic to standard. It'll get rid of all the washed away colors, so it doesn't look like desaturated or something. And this will give us our colors we want. Now I can go to face, go to the sphere, copy the base shader, face, let that all load. And we do the same thing with the eyes, we just input the correct textures we need. So face, AC, face DI, face LS. Oh, right, I forgot. This is an example here where we don't have an LS texture. LS, by the way, is the ambient occlusion. If we don't have it, just unplug it from here. We do not need it then. Just unplug it from there. The reason why we don't unplug all of this is due to the fact that this has our vertex colors plugged into it. This is how I combine these two. And then the LI, I think I've stated earlier, is our line work texture. So face LI, there we go. There it is. And let me check if this has to be white or no. Actually, we can just remove the invert here, plug in our vertex color invert to both segments of where the AO connects to. Actually, yeah, it's fine. It's less nodes anyway. If we just delete these for the face. Then we do AO threshold, and lower it to a good amount. And let me show you what the vertex colors are doing on his model. Is that see right here, anywhere where it's red in this specific area of its colors will be shadowed. Well, will be not shadowed, but part of the AO. Which is why we have the AO threshold right here, which controls how thick and small it gets. And then that's it for the face. But I'd also copy the face material, or all the shader materials, all the shader nodes in here. Copy all of those. Scroll down the materials, and we'll see there's a second face here, which is, I believe, is the neck shadow here. Yep, there it is. Usually this is called neck shadow in other characters in this game. Just copy and paste it, this neck part, as the same material as that, That's the face. Then we can go to the hair. Let's now copy the base shader again for the hair. Oh, I forgot. This multiply here is only here just in case you don't have a proper AC texture, as Tanjiro's Hiyori does not have it. So it doesn't. If it has a proper AC texture, just make the solid white so it's not as dark in the shadow. I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the hair. Yes, hair. Hair AC. Hair DI. Hair LS. And then hair LI. Tanjiro doesn't have lines in his hair, so we can just remove it from here. Just unplug it from here, and make this a solid white. There shouldn't be an SP here. Okay, weird. Tanjiro's hair is solid black. Is that because the AO? Yes, it is. AO threshold's way too big. There we go. Tanjiro's hair. Set up. Let me make this not that dark. It needs to be not black. There we go. Do the same thing for the hands. Find the hand textures. And AC. And DI. And LS. And LI. And again, there's a SP texture here. It's not supposed to be there. And if you're wondering what an SP texture is, that's the specular. Oh, the lines are way too big. Okay, this recreates anything with a thicker line. Currently, because I do not know if Blender has easy access to camera distance, I don't know how would I make this interact with the camera distance. So I made it manual for now. And then right with the hands. Is anything wrong with the AO? No, everything's fine. Okay. Then we go to body. Copy this again. Heat. AC. Body AC. Body DI. Body LS. Body LI. Oh, and because I'm working on Tanjiro, this shader was built around Tanjiro. But it does indeed work for other characters. You just need to. It's a little finicky, but you do need to work around it a bit. These parts that are unlit is part of the AO function that we have in here, which is the lit and AO lit push. This is anywhere that the AO should be unlit. So if you mess with it, you can see how it's doing all of this. So if I move AO lit push, this creates how far back or how delayed the shadow should be on segments, which helps to create the illusion of wrinkles. So if I move the lighting around it now, you can see how it creates that delayed shadow. Look at the chest here. Move that. You can see how it creates that look. So next on will be the APK tone controls, the shades. If you go to the materials we have here, we have something called stencils. If I copy these, put it into our stencils, you'll see something called holdout. It makes it solid white, however, we do want to go to here in our render properties, go to film, and hit transparent. I'll explain this in the next video about rendering. Temporarily though, swap it to transparent BSDF for both of them. And then go to blend mode, we'll blend for both of these. You can also unplug this. This is usually just meant for the DI, not DI, the AC texture, the shadow one. But you can also just remove it and just make it a darker color. Shade 2 is for the eyeshadow. And first shade is meant for the shadow underneath the eyebrows. I just do this temporarily so I can understand how it looks with the character. And I'll explain the holdout node in a separate video. So go to coat now. I can explain the thing I was talking about earlier. Oh, wrong nodes. Coat. This I need to explain. So with Tanjiro's Hiyori, we do not have any shadow texture that I can see. This one says DA, which I believe means damage, because it has a little cut on the back of on his right or left shoulder. We have a DI texture, but we have no Hiyori AC. So, from what I believe they just grabbed the DI texture for his coat and put it into both. You create the shadow. That's why I have this multiply here. So all it's doing is making a darker version of the DI texture. Let me plug in everything else now. Coat LS. And body LI. This is an example of what I said earlier of how they share textures with other names that don't correlate with the current material you're in. So there's no coat LI, but there is a body LI this uses. As you can see here, it creates all the seams and wrinkles that are drawn in. And this is what I mean by the shadow color. You can make a solid white, no more shadow. So as it's just being a darker version of the base. Then we have shoes. The sandals, or tabi, I believe they're called tabi, right? Usually are just a copy of the body material. So I grab the body material we made already and paste it in here. Yep, there it is. Then we have something called back. Where would back be? If we hide the coat, you can see this segment here. This is the back. This is where the Demon Slayer logo is. So what we want to do here is grab our body material, paste it in here, and then remove the AC and DI textures for the back ones. So back AC, and then back DI. And then we have the back LS. So we move this one for the back LS. What's going on? Why is there... Looks like there's something wrong with it? Or did I not change the textures properly? Oh, it's still... Oh, they're still on body. Okay. I thought I changed them to back. My bad. These need to be back. No. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. I'm clicking body by accident. Whoops. Back AC. And back DI. There we go. And now we have our logo on the back. Next is the earrings. The earrings don't have an AO, so yeah, I'll just copy that over here from here. There we go. Copy all of that. And the earrings don't have a AC texture either. So we can just go to here, earrings DI, go into here again, earrings DI. And it doesn't have an AO, so we can just unplug that. So actually, that, open here, earrings LI. Or rather, earrings MI. Don't know why it's called MI. But that's what we have right now. So there's that. And then everything should light properly. Tanjiro's eyes don't seem to be being lit. Oh, here it is. The threshold's way too low. You can assign that to 0. There we go. That's why the eyes weren't being lit. There we go. And then for the outline, we are going to do the solidify modifier method. So you can just do this or move it up and make offset positive, normals flip, and the materials, I usually just count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to solidify. So if it's 13, that's 12, I believe. Go down here, material, emission, backface call, remove fill, go, and if you see all these weird edge splits, this is how we fix it. We grab the whole model, hit A, then hit L on the eyebrows, untap that, deselect. Interesting, what is going on here? Oh, his eyebrows are weird. That's fine. Let's just grab the eyebrows separately then. And then now we do merge by distance, sharp edges. So now that's free. And then now I hit invert. I hit merge selection again. Merge by distance. Sharp edges. Now it cleans up all of our weird edge splits we were having. And now we have a bunch of weird outline artifacts, correct? So what we want to do now is, the method I usually do, go to vertex groups, which is under object data properties, hit the plus sign. I name this one A.outline. The reason why I name it A is so when I sort by name, it's the first one that comes up. So I put that in here. Notice how the outlines are gone? This is what controls our outlines now. So I usually use a plugin called Vertex Color Master, which I'll link in the GitHub in the description. So I go to source, which is our color. Then I go to blue and select A.outline, which is why I put it here in the beginning by name, so it's easier to access. Then I source blue to weights. Get out of here. And now if I increase the size, we have little to no artifacts. However, we do have some. For instance, you can see the eyeballs getting an outline. So I will select the whole eyeball, as we can see here. Then go to A.outline, weight 0 sign. The outlines are no longer on the eyes. So I just noticed when we merge by distance, these two connected. Hit B, separate that. Check if any of the out or any of the normals got broken from separating there. Let's see that cap. Nope, the normals are fine. The normals are fine, that's good. Did any of them here also get screwed up? Yes, same exact spot. There it is, separated. Cleaned up. I just realized that the nose lines are really thick. And that's Tanjiro setup with the base shader. For the Katana, which we do have the Katana shader in here. It's a work in progress shader, so it's not done. There's a lot of things I need to clean up or figure out what does what. Some of these things don't work as intended, and I don't know which textures actually do what. Some of them just look like a bunch of artifact blobs. So I have to figure out what they did to replicate the look, as I don't know what's going on in these textures, because it just looks, to me at least personally, from experience with my own models and stuff, it just looks like a lot of masking with a lot of their textures, but I could be completely wrong. But this is the Katana shader. Do the same thing you did with the base shader. All you're doing is inputting the textures with the correct names, labels. If it doesn't exist, then you might have to just compensate with another texture from the game, like the how the body li is shared with the Hiyori's line work. Also, this shader does work with point lights. However, when you first spawn in, please disable shadow and make specular 0. And then you have a functional point light. We also do have settings in here for point lights, I believe. Oh no, they're inside here. I will add those options into the main shader here. So on the GitHub, when you download it, the newest update, I will have 2 options down here for point light emission and point light sharpness. or rather smoothness. It determines how sharp the point light is. Also, the reason why we have diffuse up but not specular is, let me show you. If I have this specular on by itself, you can start to see these weird, like, geometry. You can see the geometry of the model now, the shape with the point lights. At certain angles, you can't see it, but sometimes you will see it. So you remove that and have only diffuse and increase the power. Same look, except there's none of that weird geometry appearing throughout it. That's how the point lights work. And the sun, never delete the sun. Please do not delete the sun, as it has every setting and is needed for a shader function, as we get all of our lighting data from this. So if you delete this, this is what it looks like. You now have no more control. And if I spawn a new sun in, look what happens. Even though we spawn a new sun in, it's not controlling the lighting at all. That's because it was not linked to the shader. That's why we don't delete the sun. Alright. I will be now making the rendering video. So I'll see you over to that next video. That's it for the shader introduction. I also forgot to mention that this eye mask thing, with the shader settings, when you first get it, it's default to Tanjiro's eye mask, because his eye mask is kind of like weirdly made compared to Nezuko's, because everyone else in the game seems to have a consistent one that looks like this, but Tanjiro's is like in the corners. So with the mapping behind the eye mask, Tanjiro is made for scale of 4:4, and location 0:0:0, which makes it perfectly centered with the eye, which makes it move appropriately. Whoops. So if I move it, you can see how the mask moves perfectly with the eye in the middle there. So we don't want to really touch that mask, since all of this moves in place with this. Actually, that's eye rotation, but this part, whoops, yeah, eye rotation, like it moves all of that, and if I move this, you can see it's still with it. That's the eye mask. Nezuko's is different. Hers is 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, negative 0.5, and 1 for all of these, as this is the standard for all the other characters in the game. So if I make mission 2, eyes glowing, I can move it. Oh, and I forgot to do this. You can make sure repeat is on extend, so it doesn't repeat it. So it only moves out once. Oops. Okay, so I forgot to explain what or how to use SP textures. Since Tanjiro didn't have it in his example, my bad, I'm sorry for not explaining that earlier. So with Nezuko, we have an SP texture right here on the bamboo part. So if I go to bamboo, we can see that we have the SP texture installed here. The SP texture, we have it moved around a bit. I have it at negative 0.01, it's lower, and I have it a little bit scaled down. That's why I have it all moved around, because it doesn't appear at all. So we have that set up. It's purely there for specular, so if I move the lighting around, you can see how the shadow goes over the specular. And you can change how strong it is through here, through the strength here, which only really changes the opacity. I could probably rename the opacity to make it more accurate. You have emission here, which makes it brighter. Just be careful, because it'll make the rest of the bamboo bright if you do it too much. And I'm going to explain more of the shader functions As I said earlier, the wrinkles with the delayed shadow are lit in AO lit push. I don't think I should be able to, I don't think I have to explain further. I think what I had said was pretty fine. Shadow tint changes the color of the shadow. So a better example would be on the clothing. So if we put the Hiyori tint, we can see if I make it darker, it makes it black, right? Or I can change the color around to different colors of that, like a yellowish tint. In this blend file I have right now, I have it so it's a slight pinkish purple color, or kind of a lavender. This was for me testing out lighting for the Wisteria forest, since I was asked about adding these features to the shader. So this type color would be used for the Wisteria lighting. And we have base tint, which is our not the shadow, which is the base area. So I can make that a slight pink or blue hue like that too. Same with the face. We can do that too. Oh, and Nezuko, for example, she has the veins already on her model. The veins would share the same material as the face, however, you want to add in the wrinkled textures, which is called the it's lagging, hold on. Anger face li texture that she has. I will now go on to make the rendering video.